If you stumbled across this video and somehow don't know who Ludwig is, then I would suggest you get back to watching Skibidi Toilet, but either way, I'll give you a quick rundown as to who this person is. Ludwig is one of the biggest streamers on YouTube, getting several thousand viewers every time he streams. He'll play video games or do react content, and this often becomes the content that gets posted on the channel after it's edited and cut up. His biggest video, though, isn't even his own. It's literally a Mr. Beast scrapped video that Jimmy just decided to give him and let him keep all the money from it. You gotta imagine how much of Mr. Beast's population pudding he had to ingest in order to get that video for free. Sorry, that was a little graphic, but Ludwig's main channel is not what we're talking about today. We're talking about him on his social media platforms like Twitter.
No, unacceptable.
And we're also talking about his second channel called Mogul Mail, where he posts daily commentary, moist critical style videos going over current events, trending topics, etc. For a long time, I had no issue with Ludwig, and at one point I actually consumed his content somewhat regularly, but over the past year or so, I've seen the way that his content has shifted, and seeing his attitude on social media has made me strongly dislike him. One of Ludwig's biggest videos on his Mogul Mail channel is called This YouTuber Sucks, a 21-minute video where Ludwig criticizes the YouTuber Think Before You Sleep for a video that he posted titled How Feminist Ideas Make Everybody Weak. This website says it's gonna take me 10 months to hit 500k. I think that's whack. Let's do it way before that, so subscribe to the channel and help me out. And while you're down there, follow my Twitter and Instagram. Links are down below. Thanks. Now, as a commentary channel, I believe you can make fun of anybody you want. You can criticize anybody you want for whatever reason you want. But one thing I think is very important is if you're presenting information, you should be honest about it. You should be factual. And if you, whether accidentally or not, present misinformation or misrepresent something, I think you should correct it, whether that would be through a comment on the video saying, hey, I got this wrong, my mistake, or issuing a correction in a follow-up video of some sort. A lot of Ludwig's criticisms against Think Before You Sleep are just based on his own personal opinions and his observations about the world, right? That's fair. Disagreeing with some of the general takes and opinions provided by Think Before You Sleep in that video, and that's totally fine. This might get a little meta and hard to follow, but I'm just gonna try to break it down. So Think Before You Sleep's original video was reacting to a video by BBC, which was arguing that women have it worse when gaming online and dealing with online harassment. Think Before You Sleep's argument was that men actually get harassed on net more, so the argument made by this BBC video being that the type of harassment women receive being because of their gender is worse is just kind of arbitrary.
Here's data from Pew Research about online harassment from 2014. Most of the categories are even. Look, it says here that men are 7% more likely to be harassed online than women are when you look at all types of harassment. Yeah, this stuff is not great on both sides, but don't sit there and make shows pretending that women are the only ones who have to deal with assholes.
Ludwig ignores this information while reacting to Think Before You Sleep's video, even when he's looking at a graph that he pulled up that shows that there are a lot of instances online that women will get harassed for less often, such as political views, race and ethnicity, and religion. Meanwhile, women will more oftentimes get harassed for sexual orientation and gender. Ludwig barely acknowledges this while looking at the graph that he pulled up from Pew Research Center and just says like, oh yeah, well, women get harassed more for their gender. It's like, well, yeah, obviously, like, we know that. That's what the graph says. But in this same article by Pew, they show a graph that has 43% of men reporting any and all online harassment in general, and 38% of women reporting any and all harassment online in general.
It says here that men are 7% more likely to be harassed online than women are when you look at all types of harassment.
Okay, that's a 2014 article from Pew Research. Pew Research does this article often. I don't know why he went back to 2014. Again, this video was posted literally a couple months ago. They did a 2017 version and then a 2021 version. I looked it up, and it turns out that if you do the more recent one, the numbers have changed a bit, interestingly enough, and the amount of gendered harassment has increased from 20% to 33% among those who are harassed.
Now, I'm not here to argue that it's like worse for men or worse for women. I'm just showing you the data that he showed us to prove the point that he must be horrible at interpreting data, because this graph doesn't prove the point that it's like worse for women. He's just kind of assuming like, oh, even though the numbers would show me that it's actually, in some cases, you could argue worse for men based on net harassment and the different specific types, but I'm just going to give you this information that says, hey, women sometimes get sexist comments made toward them, and then that's just like, what? That's just the worst thing ever because you said so? It's one thing to misinterpret data, but I think it's another thing to misinterpret data and use this said misinterpretation to attack somebody else's credibility. Ludwig has still not made any revisions or corrections to this video. Now, with that being said, it is like a year old, so at this point in time, I'm not expecting him to, but I want to just bring this up to show you where a genuine case of Ludwig not doing something correct was done, and he did nothing to remedy it. I bring this up to contrast a situation where Ludwig did nothing wrong at all and actually made a valid criticism of another streamer, but that other streamer was so upset at this video that was made against him that he basically asked Ludwig to take it down, and Ludwig cowered in fear and literally took the video down. A few months ago, there was discourse surrounding the notion of streaming being a hard job. People on Twitter were arguing about if streaming is really that hard compared to other normal jobs, you could say. This discourse was sparked because of streamer Hassanabi's comments saying that streaming is socially draining and will suck the soul out of you, those are quotes from him, in a way that a normal job can never do. Because staring at a screen for 8 hours can be pretty draining, which I think we can all agree with, but the way that he said it just came across kind of privileged and somewhat tone deaf to the fact that he's making millions of dollars just kind of doing nothing, and seemed ungrateful in this clip.
Yes, a real job can be gruesome, a real job can make you very tired, but a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will.
Now, in case you can't pick up on this, on the Mogul Mail channel, Ludwig seems to try to give the most palatable, easy to digest, and least controversial take as humanly possible, right? The Think Before You Sleep video that he reacted to a year ago, I believe the reason that he posted it was to try to posture to his audience that like, oh, I'm not sexist, you know, women are great, stop sexism, women are great, you know, it was sort of just like a very simple, average, middle of the road, like, okay, you know, a nothing burger take, like, yeah, women are cool. Like the same reason he made a video criticizing Andrew Tate, you know, it can just be like this very simple chance to score brownie points with your audience for saying very simple, not controversial things that, you know, for some reason you can seem still brave for saying, like, women are fine, don't be sexist. Okay, thank you, Ludwig. Now, Ludwig made a video on the entire streaming is harder than a real job discourse for that same reason, presumably, because most people would agree that saying streaming is harder than a 9 to 5 or that streaming is socially draining in a way that a normal job will never be is a little delusional. And it's something that if you say to your audience that you disagree with, they'll be like, oh yeah, that's based, you know, like, yeah, facts. Now, Ludwig ended up actually doing this in a video that he now deleted where he had a fake tweet of Hassan in the thumbnail saying streaming is harder than a real job or something along those lines.
Yes, a real job can be gruesome, a real job can make you very tired, but a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will.
Now, as you can imagine, this clip went mega viral. The viral to the effect of 10 million views. And in my 5-year career as a YouTuber, I've never made a video with that many views before. So that it is an impressive number in my mind. But I wanted to talk about this as a streamer myself for almost 6 years now on how hard it really is. I'm kidding.
Hassan reacted to this video by Ludwig on stream and got very upset that, you know, Ludwig was apparently drama farming off of him and like using him for clicks, even though I think they're friends behind the scene or something.
Like, it's like no different than what Muda did. He showed the context though. It doesn't fucking matter that he showed the context. It's just a way to just literally farm off the fucking drama. Whatever. Fuck it. Who gives a shit? It's just.
I don't give a shit about this conversation. Frankly,
yeah, no video for Nick Marks from Ludwig.
Conveniently for Hassan, the video was taken down, actually. Hassan, I think, pressured Ludwig into deleting the video, and then Ludwig did a re-upload of it with a different thumbnail and a different title, and Ludwig said the reason he took it down was not because Hassan pressured him or anything, or that he's Hassan's little bitch and does whatever he says. And when Hassan says jump, Ludwig says how high. No. It was because the sponsorship wouldn't have been happy with the way that video performed, and he wanted to re-upload it so that the video performed better, so the sponsors would be more happy.
You should call Hassan and apologize. Why is Hassan mad? What did I do? Because my Mogul Mail? I feel like everything I said was fine. Am I crazy? Farmed for views? Oh, well, I mean, that's the deal. I'll just pull them out of the thumbnail, and then I feel like it doesn't really matter much, right? I can just pull them out. I feel like that's... Because I feel like outside the thumbnail, you can't really make that argument much.
Houdini!
That was a Mogul Mail that I uploaded yesterday. You might not have seen it, though, because I took the video down. The video was called, Do Streamers Have Hard Jobs? And the reason I took it down is because we had a great sponsor on it. But the great sponsor wasn't getting great views. In fact, the video got 50,000 views in the first hour, and for reference, a normal video on this channel gets 130,000 views. I was live at the time, so I couldn't tinker with the title and the thumbnail to fix that, so I ended up taking it down with the plan of just removing the sponsor, re-uploading it tomorrow. And I figured, maybe a Minecrafter will do something dumb, and I can just talk about that and throw a sponsor in, and everybody will be happy.
Now, I'll tell you this much. The reason the video performed bad was because before taking down the video, Ludwig changed the thumbnail from the fake Hassan tweet to something else. And when he changed the thumbnail to something that was just worse, the video is going to get less CTR, less clicks, people are going to watch it less, so it's going to not perform as good. Dude nuked his own video because his friend got upset because he said something stupid and Ludwig did a little bit of criticism on it. It's just cringy. Like, he'll never actually post something that goes against the general agreed upon consensus of the streaming community and the audience of it, Like, he'll criticize Andrew Tate, even though Andrew Tate is a lot more famous than Ludwig, and if Andrew Tate responded, he'd probably double down and criticize Andrew Tate. But is that really such a brave thing to do when, like, all of the streamers who you're friends with would defend you on their stream and their audiences would support you and your audience would support you, and you have Mr. Beast giving you 15 million view videos for free? I don't think so, man. But the moment that Ludwig gets a little bit upset that you clickbaited his name, it's like fucking batten down the hatches, bro. We're in for a tough ride. What did they say in Wolf of Wall Street? Chop? A little bit of chop, we can handle chop. Bro, Ludwig can't handle chop. You know what I mean? Like, he literally fucking deletes the video when there's any chance of, like, someone he shares an audience with at all being a little bit critical of him. Anyway, thank goodness his fans at least caught on to this, and, the comment section of this re-upload ate him alive a little bit, and he got some dislikes on it too. Oh no, my narcissist friend complained that I called him out. Time to private the video. Spineless.
There are obviously real jobs out there that are good comparisons. Service sector, people-pleasing jobs would be very similar. Those are
Good comparisons for a job that might drain your social battery. For context,
I think customer service type shit. But if you're an accountant, or if you're even in sales, my interactions with clients was limited, way more limited than constantly having to do this for 9 hours with a back and forth interaction for 9 hours. That's what sucks your social battery, and you just tap out after it.
And the term social battery is probably a lot more acceptable to most people than the term soul. People don't like the term soul because a soul-sucking job to most people would be like a job that doesn't have upwards mobility, which, again, I think Hassan would agree with, and I personally agree with, because I worked at Apple support for 2.5 fucking years, literally helping boomers reset their Apple password. And in the final 6 months, and I think part of it's because my girlfriend at the time cheated on me, so I was going through it, I would throw my headset at the wall because I couldn't handle a sweet 70-year-old lady trying to figure out how to reset her password. I just couldn't handle that social interaction, which is bad of me. And the closest I've ever come to that is babysitting my chat. But people don't really give a shit about the context. People don't really give a shit about the conversation. They just care about getting Twitter likes, which is all this really is, which is why people like fucking Keemstar are tweeting out shit like this just for a dunk sesh, because nobody gives a fucking shit. Nobody gives a rat's ass about the facts or about any people involved. They just care about a little Twitter like, little impression, right? That's why they tweet. What is this? Look at this shit they tweet, bro. Why do they all look like Twitch streamers? They don't. What are we doing here?
This video is basically him role-playing as Hassan's public relations manager, trying to make sure that Hassan never looks bad, okay? I don't want to shift the focus of the video too much to Hassan, but I do want to also say that Hassan has a history of complaining to other people who may actually listen to him and take down content criticizing him. He obviously has leverage over Ludwig, so him complaining to Ludwig actually might do something, and in this case, it actually did. He's also complained about the live stream fails subreddit, which is a subreddit that, well, as you can imagine, compiles fails taking place on live streams. Someone says something unfortunate, they clip it, someone does something unfortunate, something crazy happens, whatever, it's all on the subreddit. Now, Hassan has been clipped up on that subreddit several times because he's fucking retarded and says a lot of dumb stuff that can be clipped up and put on that live stream fails subreddit constantly, but there is messages of him basically begging to be removed off of LSF. Hey, can I please get taken off LSF, permanently? I just don't understand why I still get harassed for 2 years now. This has become a lolcow thing for the Destiny Brigaders at this point. It's formulaic. It's not about accountability or truth. He's just dunking on me for my view count getting lower. Don't understand why that is even remotely relevant to the Twitch discourse. It's been like this for years now. And then he just goes on to basically beg to be taken off this site. Dude, you have 30,000 concurrent viewers. Just talk to them. Ignore this. Anyway, enough about Hassan and back to the main subject of the video, Ludwig. Now, the reason that I made this video specifically, the thing that set this off, was his recent drama with Destiny. Now, Destiny gets into a lot of drama, so I'm not going to cover everything that he's involved with, but Ludwig just did something here that I thought was silly, which was just completely lie about an interaction he had with Destiny, and he got literally fact-checked with a video that disproves what he said. So there is some background information that led up to this, but I'm not going to cover it. If you're interested in like the whole series of events and you're like a drama schizoid, then go watch Turkey Tom's video, I Do Not Like Ludwig. But basically, Destiny and Ludwig got into a Twitter spat, and, you know, whatever people are saying, Destiny got owned, I'm not going to go over it. But after this Twitter debacle, Ludwig goes on stream and tells a story about when he interacted with Destiny for one of the first times, and how apparently he didn't pass the vibe check, because at a TwitchCon party, him and some other streamers were playing a game where they were throwing cheese balls into each other's mouth, and they had a circle, and Destiny, apparently according to Ludwig, based on this clip, didn't want to join the cheese ball circle, and failed the Ludwig patented cheese ball vibe test.
Remember that day, my vibes were immaculate. I got everybody in the room to play this game. We had a bunch of, you know that giant thing of cheese balls? We're at TwitchCon, I remember this. We had this giant thing of cheese balls. I had a fucking circle of like 10 people around me, and we were trying to throw the cheese ball into every person's mouth in a row, and if we failed, we would restart. I don't know how, but I got everybody to start playing this game. We were playing it like it was the fucking Super Bowl. If someone dropped it at cheese ball 8, there was fists being thrown. Just a dumb game that you play with your friends. But I remember he comes in and I go, cheese ball? And he goes, no. And ever since then, I was like, hey, just like every other human on this earth, I hope he does well. I hope he does good things. But the vibes aren't there for me. He wouldn't enter the cheese ball circle. That is the cheese ball vibe check. But look, ultimately, I think, I say it's about, dude, anyone. The fucking guy who scammed me out $100K, a guy who's being weirdly mean to my girlfriend, wish him the best. I hope he does the most he can in his life in this short time on this earth to make it a better place, to make the lives of people around him a better, and I hope we interact as few times as possible.
Now, if you're asking me, I think that's sort of a strange thing to not talk to somebody over and decide that you're not gonna, you know, ever speak with them again because they failed the cheese ball vibe check. Like, he literally says, hey, I hope he does good in life, but I never want to interact with him again because of him being in a bad mood, apparently, and not wanting to play a cheese ball catching game. Well, funny enough, this isn't even true, and this game was streamed on Twitch, and I guess Ludwig didn't know this, or perhaps maybe he thought of it differently when he's told this story, but it was all on video. And Destiny literally did the cheese ball thing. So why Ludwig said this probably was because currently he has a bad relationship with Destiny, and may be rewriting history in his brain to make it so that he was always thought that he had a bad relationship with him. I don't know, but what a weird thing to lie about. Now, I mean, obviously, if I'm going to be charitable to Ludwig, maybe he didn't think he was lying about it, you know, maybe he just misremembered or something, but it's just like, you clearly have it on video. Destiny's playing your game. He looks happy, and I don't know. I just don't know how you could misremember something like that. So yeah, my overall take on Ludwig is some of the videos on Mogul Mail aren't bad at all. You know, he does good research. I mean, he does have a team for that, I guess. But yeah, overall, not horrible. But some of the stuff that I talked about today, I just wanted to put into a video and compile my criticisms. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. See ya.